7. The Merchant and his Clever Parrot. There was a certain merchant who kept a parrot in a cage. Being about to travel to Hindustan on business, he asked the parrot if he had any message to send to his kinsmen in that country, and the parrot desired him to tell them that he was kept confined in a cage. The merchant promised to deliver this message, and on reaching Hindustan, duly delivered it to the first flock of parrots he saw. On hearing it, one of them at once fell down dead. The merchant was annoyed with his own parrot for having sent such a fatal message, and on his return home sharply rebuked his parrot for doing so. But the parrot no sooner heard the merchant's tale than how too fell down dead in his cage. The merchant, after lamenting his death, took his corpse out of the cage and threw it away. But to his surprise, the corpse immediately recovered life and flew away, explaining that the Hindustani parrot had only feigned death to suggest this way of escaping from confinement in a cage.
Understood? This is the way to get rid of the problems of nafs, problem of ego. Fell dead. Make yourself fell. Do not speak. Huzur Sayyidina Maulana Room radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has covered this story and narrated this story on at least 35 pages, which we have confined here only in 3 paragraphs and few lines. And the crux and the lesson of the story is, if you will keep speaking, if you will keep following your desires, you will remain in confinement. If you want to be known, if you want to be recognized by people, and everybody praises you, everybody loves you, honors you, respects you, takes you on his hands or on her hands, then you will remain in cage forever. Cage is cage of shaitan, cage is cage of nafs, and the cage is nafs, dunya, cage of dunya. So there are many cages, there are many restrictions which are around us, and those cages do not allow us to come out. But if you want to come out, then you have to do certain things. You have to show that you are dead. You have to show that you have no value. As our awliya Allah Sulaha radiyallahu ridwanullahi majma'een, Hazur Sayyidina Data Ganjbakhshari Hujwari radiyallahu ta'ala in Kashful Ma'jub, and Imam Abul Qasim Kushairi radiyallahu an in his Risala Kushairiyah, and some other people, they have narrated, if the traveler of the path of truth see any value of himself, he won't be able to have humbleness. Humbleness means, in your eyes, you have no value. You don't demand any value. You don't demand anything from other people. But you do everything for other people. And as far as yourself, you should not exist. That is humility. That is humbleness. Once that is done, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise you high. Now, as he released the parrot, he not released the parrot. The parrot was dead. Just fell down like dead. And he pretended that he is dead. As he pretended that he is dead, the master of that parrot took him out and threw him out. As he thrown him out, that parrot flew and went in the air. And the master said to him, "O parrot, Az bayane hale khudma de nasib. Tell me, what happened to you? You were dead. There was no sign of life in you. And the dead does not fly. That does not go free. He said, Uche kard anja ke tu a mukhti chashme ma az makre khud bardokhti. He said, what you have learned that you were alive again after you were dead? The parrot said, Guft toti ku bafa'alam pandad. That a parrot said to him, that let's me tell you, we talk about this whole process, and let me tell you what happened to me. If you want to get rid of all the cages which are around you, then make yourself quiet. Quiet. Remain quiet. Do not speak. And then Maulana Rum radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made ears. There are how many ears and how many tongues? One tongue. 2 ears. Listening is more important than speaking. If somebody does not know how to listen, he won't be able to speak. And speaking need to be controlled. Less speaking all the time. Whoever tried to decorate himself, beautify himself, he fell into traps. But the one who become quiet, listens more, speaks less, minimum words and minimum talk, he will attain the salvation. He will be succeeded. And if speaking is there and the use of tongue is there, then there is no guarantee. Maulana Rum radiyallahu ta'ala anhu say, Azuban tu bas zayani marmara. Oh my tongue, you are all loss. You are nothing but loss. All the time you bring loss to me, harm to me, damage to me. Because you are the only one in my whole body who speaks, so to who shall I tell my problem? If I have to tell my problem, you are my problem, and I have to tell my problem to you through you. This is the whole issue. And O tongue, he says, O tongue, azuban ham atash wa ham khirman. You are fire and you are my dress, you are my cover, you are my clothes. You are fire and you are my clothes. For how long you will keep your own clothes burning? This is Maulana Rum for us. Now, he says, there is soul crying to you and speaks to you, please have mercy upon us. Have mercy upon me. You speak more and more and more, you ask for more and more trouble. At one hand, you are the biggest destroyer. But on the other hand, You are incurable disease. I read one sheikh actually, he says, I always struggled to control myself from speaking. So I used to keep pebbles in my mouth so that I will not speak. And he says, I was not able to control it. Then I said, whenever I will speak something useless, something not beneficial, I will pay £1 as a fine. So then I was able to control myself. Financial loss. Financial loss made me to control myself. And the one who, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, 1/3 problems of the world are due to the tongue. Wrong use of the tongue. There are so many harms of it. And then Hazrat Sayyidina Maulana Rum radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, the last thing which we will say, and then we will finish our 2 days lesson, and then inshallah story number 8 we will go through. There is Maulana Hazur Fariduddin Attar rahimahullah. He said beautiful things, and Maulana Rum radiallahu ta'ala anhu has reported them. In that he says, do not try to become equal to any murshid, any sheikh. Do not become, bring yourself parallel to the sheikh. Do not bring yourself face to face to a sheikh and you say, you are sheikh, I am sheikh. If somebody says that you are sheikh and I am sheikh, one of them is no sheikh. And particularly the one who says that you are sheikh, I am sheikh, is not sheikh. He is not murshid. Even though they are equal in their status, but the one who will speak that you are sheikh and I am sheikh, he will lose his status. He is a guft pagambar ke talib jari ha makun bahej matlube bimari. O seeker of the path of truth, do not try to become and raise yourself to the status of the sheikh. And if you want to save yourself from loss, from damage and harm, do not argue with any Sufi sheikh. Do not argue with Sufi. This is what Maulana Rum radiallahu ta'ala anhu said. Why? Why you should not do that? He says, if you cannot save yourself from the fire of Namrud, do not jump into it. If you want to jump into the fire of Namrud, become Ibrahim. That fire will turn into garden. And if you are not able to make the fire turn into garden, do not jump into that fire. It will burn you. If you do not know how to swim, do not jump into deep waters. Why? Because the one who knows how to swim, he can go deep down to the bottom of the waters, and he will bring pearls from there, and you will be drowned. If you are naqis, if you are imperfect, if you are on the traveler of the path of truth, you are not perfect yet, you are hand of shaitan, you are in the hand of shaitan. And shaitan can make you deviated. Because the truthful person is beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are hand of shaitan. And the beloved of Allah is hand of Allah. You are in the hand of shaitan, and he is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When ignorance comes to him, it becomes wisdom. And if ignorance is wisdom in his company, what about knowledge then? How about knowledge? And the next thing which I have marked actually all around and circled it, he says, Harche girad illate illat shawat, kufar girad kamile millat shawat. If somebody is ill and suffering with disease, whatever he will eat, it will become disease. He will eat pure things. He will eat nice things, but those nice and pure things will become disease. Somebody is suffering with flu, somebody is suffering with proper diarrhea, and he will eat roast. What will happen to that roast? It will become disease for him. He eats nice food, that nice food will become disease for him. He says, if you are ill, good things will become illness for you, ailment for you. But if the perfect and complete person close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does something, act of kufr, that will become iman. If he does apparently something wrong, that will become iman. That is why when Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam came to have the competition, or they came face to face with the magician of Pharaoh. What happened? They showed respect looking at Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam looked like somebody respectable. Because of that, they said to him, "O Musa, will you go first or shall we go first?" Out of respect, they said this to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with guidance. Little respect will raise you high and remove all the diseases. But if somebody is diseased, then there is no cure for him, particularly the disease of disrespectfulness. So if you want to get rid of cage of shaitan, cage of dunya, and cage of nafs, you have to control your tongue. When your tongue is controlled, the way will be made for you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to follow the true teaching of Quran and Sunnah, and follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the guidance provided to us through His beloved Prophet.